Hey, it's Sean Basil, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where we're going to be making some more really easy, hopefully tasty and healthy recipes that you can enjoy. Today we're making a gelatin infused red sauce with pasta and mozzarella cheese with basil on top. It's pretty easy. Just start with some pasta. I'm using some organic Einkorn pasta, which is really great stuff, I think. Some pasta sauce, I'm using some tomato basil, whatever you'd like would probably work. And some mozzarella, black cherry pepper, and salt with a bit of basil. And I forgot to film the gelatin, so I'm going to magically make it appear right here through the power of the internet or something. So we're then going to measure about half of the box of the Einkorn pasta, which should bring us to about 170 grams, and we're a little bit high there, so I'm going to take back a bit because I am insane. Now we're at 170, and we're going to then put that in a pan and magically pour water over it. Wonderful. Now we should have about just enough to cover the pasta and pour in a bit of salt on top, actually quite a bit of salt. Next, we're going to move it over to the heat and turn it up to high. You don't need to boil your water before you put in the pasta. That is pretty much a myth that has been debunked. So just feel free to pour on the water, then turn up the heat. It saves you a bit of time. Then I'm going to take about half of the tomato sauce and put it in a bowl, and then pour 30 grams of gelatin on top. We're going to let this bloom, is what they call it. Just kind of let the gelatin hang out in a watery-like substance, and it will kind of congeal and make it easier to work with. Going to mix up the gelatin and make sure there's no dry spots so we can let it sit on the side for a minute. It should look something like this. And then we're going to go back to the boiling pasta, mix it up a bit, make sure those things don't stick together. And I'm going to leave that on for about 8 more minutes. Whatever, you're going to have to just figure out what works for your pasta depending on how you like it, the consistency and whatnot. I like about 8 minutes for the Einkorn. Then I'm going to take the mozzarella cheese and throw it into a Tupperware container so I can use it without making my cutting board dirty, which kind of invalidates having a cutting board, but hey, this makes it easier, and cleanup is easier as well. So we're going to cut that in half and then cut it on the sides, so just kind of a back and forth pattern. You get some nice little pieces of mozzarella going. You can use these later, not just for this recipe. And then the gelatin should be done by now, so you can see it's all kind of stuck together and does not move when you hit it against... Oh, that was fun. Well, that invalidates my whole getting the cutting board dirty thing. All right, well, back to square one. Take the pasta, strain it, and then put it in a pan. Then you're going to want to mix the tomato sauce and the gelatin that you've already mixed together and put it all together and put it on about medium to low heat and let that heat up and let the gelatin kind of dissolve a bit into the whole mix and make that all warm and good and ready to serve. And we're just about there when it's starting to steam a bit. So then just transfer it to a couple bowls. Make sure you got even portions on either side, and that looks about right. So then we just put on the mozzarella that we cut up and try to make it look all fancified. 4 pieces probably should work here. You can cut them thinner or thicker depending on what you like. This looks like I did a little bit too thick, but I think it'll work. And put the pepper on top of both of the bowls, maybe a little bit more. Lastly, we're going to take our basil and put a few spriggy things on top to make it look fancy and taste better. If you have a big piece, just tear it up. You can do that. Works. I think we're just about done here, and that's what you get with your finished product. I hope that this has been a good little experiment for you guys. If you use it, let me know in the comments below. Hope that you do enjoy it. I think it's a really easy and fun, tasty recipe that you could use on a pretty regular basis.